Welcome! Today we're looking at Creature Feature Compendium Volume 1 by Jeremy Hart. So this book is just a giant book of monsters. This is going to be a pretty quick video. These monsters in this book are mostly like planar, astral, and like abyssal. Lots of demons and just creatures from other areas. The hit dice though does range from, I believe, one half hit dice monster, a bunch of one hit dice monsters, all the way up to 20 hit dice. So you have a big range of dangerous creatures. Some are intelligent and will, try and communicate and talk. Others are just straight up predators that want to just eat and kill and, gather loot and that sort of thing. The layout for this book is really good. It's in alphabetical order going through the book in the table of contents, but in the back the monsters are organized by hit dice. So if you're trying to sort through varying danger levels, that's a great way to just go through and find the ones you're looking for pretty easily. So that's the overall layout. The creature layout is really, really good. I'm a big fan of it. It's broken down to 4 pages. The first page is the name, a short description, and basically the stats and abilities of the monster laid out in an OSC format, because this is for Old School Essentials, but you can use it for any sort of old school gaming. I personally grabbed it for my current Worlds Without Number Temple game because I wanted just a bit more, spicy creatures to throw in, because the module is from 1985, I believe, so there's a lot of fun stuff in it. But some of the creatures are, I don't want to say tired. Sometimes I like to throw in something a little bit more exotic, just that might take somebody off guard if they don't really know what they're dealing with, versus the bog standard troll using fire. And I won't spoil which one I use, but if you've been watching the Temple of Elemental Evil actual play, you'll know that I've already used one creature from this book, just for that little extra scariness. The one that Martin encountered did make him a little bit wary. So back to the layout. So you have the first page with all the stats and abilities. The second page is the art, which I like the art quite a bit. It has like a very bold, sort of almost like graphic novel look. There's also like dark edges and lots of shading, though it could clash with the art style or tone of your current campaign, so be aware of that. However, they are from different planes and dimensions, so it could actually work as a way to show just how different they are from wherever they've shown up now in your game world. Another nice thing too is that with every piece of art, you also have a different silhouette of it, like an adventurer. Some of them are lizards, some of them are like rangers or soldiers, and it shows you the actual size of the creature in comparison to a normal human, which I think is great, because telling me, large, huge, giant, titanic, tiny, I mean, you can understand it, but having an actual picture to show just how small it is, that little weird goblin creature only comes up to your knees, or that the towering dragon thing is literally the size of a building compared to you, I think does have a nice little extra visual impact for the players if you do show that to them. I'd actually like to see that happen more. I think actually having that scale was actually very helpful to me to be like, oh, whoa, this thing is, yeah, that's big. The third and fourth page is what makes this, I think, a bit different than a lot of other monster books, because there's a bajillion monster books out there. And so you have the description, tactics, lore, ecology, scenario seeds, and loot on the third and fourth pages. The description, lore, and ecology is all just stuff that you can use as a way of storytelling, why they would be in your game world in a certain area. But what I think is really good are the tactics and the seeds. The tactics are great because oftentimes it can be hard, especially with more rules-like games, to make different monsters feel different. A band of thieves might not feel all that different than a band of orcs fighting the players. So sometimes it can be a little bit hard, and you have to just add little nuances here and there. So being told that a certain kind of creature is like an ambush predator, or they teleport around, could really help the player and be like, oh, this is how they'll actually even approach the party when they first encounter them, or this is what they'll do with things where they pop off. That can be very helpful for people who aren't necessarily more tactically minded, just having a little bit of an idea of how these things work, without going into a step-by-step process of what they're going to be doing, And snare seeds are great if you're just looking for some ideas for a monster. Maybe you're running a one-shot and you just need some idea, but you don't really know what you're feeling, and you just go through this book, you're like, oh, this would work really well as a one-shot. Or you're running a West Marches or Sandbox game, and you want to just populate some missions around or that sort of thing. And some of them are very in-depth. There's one here that's 2 paragraphs, and then you'll have some that are just a few sentences. So some are very detailed and others are less. I think each one of them has at least 2 snare seeds. Some have 3, maybe 4. I haven't looked through every monster in this book because there's a shitload. Look how chunky this book is. I can't look at all of them. I love having seeds for monsters. I think more monster books should have that. Some will say where they might be found or what they might be doing. Saying a certain kind of monster attacks caravans of the road isn't really all that helpful, because that could be anything. Anything can just do that. That's a very basic setup. But some of these seeds have much more in-depth premises. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. It's just a monster book, giant book of monsters. I do recommend it. Like I said, a lot of it are planar and abyssal, so you do have a lot of kind of out there monsters. So if you're looking for more grounded ones, there's a few in here. But a lot of them are trying to be interesting and exotic, and I'm really excited to use more of them. I haven't used any in combat yet, but it'll be very interesting to see how that works out. So the review portion is over now, but I'm just going to go through 3 monsters that I really liked. So the first monster is the Conglaba. The Conglaba infect other plants in their vicinity and cause them to produce a delicious fruit that is highly attractive to animals. The fruit is intoxicating and causes a paralysis delirium. Once a creature is incapacitated, the Conglaba reveals itself to consume them. It later excretes digested meat as fertilizer for the plants it infests. So, I mean, this monster's pretty fun. It first struck me with its sort of goofy picture there. It's still creepy, and you can see how gigantic it is compared to the guy. But I just picked this one out because I don't often use plant creatures. It's one of those ones I should use more, and I like them a lot. I definitely sleep on them. I don't use them a lot in places where I should, like maybe even ruins or dungeon. They're great for, like, in forest or even gardens in, like, urban areas. There's a lot of use with plant creatures, and I feel like I don't use them enough. So I wanted to pick this one out just to sort of highlight that. I like this one a lot, too, because it's a bit more of like a puzzle monster, where it's not going to fight fair. It's not going to jump out of the bushes like a big fucking leopard or anything like that. It's absolutely a creature that needs to be played cleverly by the GM and needs to be resolved cleverly by the players, and I think that's very fun. Next is the Mantid Stitch Golem. Pack hunting undead predators stitched together from various corpses, human and otherwise. The spirits that animate them are said to be arachnids drawn from the infernal realm. What the fuck? And the last one is the Thaumagrue, or Thaumagrue, which is an immense caterpillar-like demon obsessed with arcane knowledge and power. The reason why I picked this guy is that he's just absolutely adorable. I know he's gigantic, I know he's a demon, I know he's a little problematic, you know, he might eat your wizard, he might regurgitate people he's eaten before and keep them in constant pain and be the only way to relieve them so they do whatever he wants. You know, he's got some issues, but I think I can change him. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Check out my other RPG reviews. I also upload Twitch stream edits, as well as several actual plays. There'll be more to come in the future, so check those out. And I'll see you guys next time.